We're going live. We're just going to go live and keep rolling with this because we're talking about Canada Land, and Shane is actually very well versed in Canadian traditions and whatnot.
I just want to point out that I'm repping the CFL for FF_RTDB, but with the Argonauts hat because Toronto's the city in Canada you want to be in. And, one host here has got to rep it. So here I am. I'm here.
I'm down for I look, every year that I've played fantasy football, so I'm like in my late 80s, so like 60 years now. I've been trying to get someone to do a CFL league with me.
You can't.
And absolutely no one. Like I've never gotten one bite. Like, and it's an every year thing. Like every year someone brings something up and I'm just like, guys, what's up? Why don't we just add a little spice to this and do a CFL league too? And everyone looks at me like, no, just no. I'm like, guys, we did the AAF, we did the XFL.
I love the XFL.
And like we made up some crazy site, like some dude just made it on the internet and everybody went on it and he tweeted it out and everybody's like, yeah, this is fine. Let's just use this virus and we're going to draft this AAF league. And but meanwhile, the CFL, you could use, Canadian CBS or whatever they have up there. CBC.
It's bad.
But it can't be worse than the virus that we all were all like, no. No one knows who this dude is, but he created a site that we can use for the AAF. Let's just do it because I need to draft the Ernest Johnson.
Shane, that's still a better product than NFL Game Pass.
Ooh. Yeah, he's not totally wrong there.
Oh man, are you guys about ready to kick this show off? We good?
Let's do it.
Ready to rock and roll?
Born ready.
All right, give me 1 second. I got to do this post for fantasy football discussion, and let's go.
This is Fantasy Intervention. Now here to intervene with your fantasy life, Shane Manila, Jacob Sanderson, and Chase Vernon.
Oh, of course. I can never expect Shane not to be dancing when that intro is done with. I absolutely love it. Welcome on into Fantasy Intervention, guys. We got a brand new show coming at y'all for Week 15. We got the fantasy playoffs in here, and we actually have a couple of special guests. We have Thomas Tipple, FF, over there on Twitter. You guys know him from our Sunday shows that we do, and also Dynasty Happy Hour as well on those every other Sunday night shows. And then, he makes his appearances. So I'm sure most people are familiar with Thomas. But we have somebody brand new joining the show with us over there from, oh man, you're over there at Barstool, right? You're over there at RotoUnderworld. I mean, you're all over the place. What's going on, Anand? How are you doing?
What's up, Chase? How's it going, Thomas? What's up, Shane? How's everybody doing out there? I'm super excited to be on. Obviously I do a bunch of stuff with RotoUnderworld, and that's kind of my main podcast content, but excited to do something a little different tonight.
Yeah, this is something, we have our Wednesday night shows, and typically they break down and show us a bunch of tomfoolery and us trying to push our way through the show as Jacob and Shane just go back and forth talking about...
Mostly Jacob.
Yeah, I mean, if Jacob's not here, we can get a show done in a couple minutes. If Shane isn't here, it's the same sort of thing, but those two together is trouble. So I thought I'd bring his counterpart in.
Don't worry, I can fill in.
We could see if it gets a little bit, ridiculous once again.
Something Tony Pollard, something Brandon Ayuk, something vague movie reference. I got it covered. I'm good to go.
You need a dad joke in there some way, somehow, or some insult to Shane as well. So we're going to work on that. We're going to get there. But yeah, no, we got plenty of things lined up for y'all. We have talk about, COVID that's happening at a rapid rate, what you should do to actually try and help your team out if there is actually help out there. It's a packed show. But before we get into the show, I do want to let y'all know, bring your questions into the chat, please. We will answer all your questions, so get them lined up for Week 15. fantasy football discussion. Big shout out to you guys. Make sure y'all bring the questions as well. And let's do a quick recap from last week. It was probably my best week in terms of players outside the top 15 or 20 to finish in there. Justin Fields went off, CEH went off, Hooper went off, and absolutely smashed. All three of those guys ended up inside the top 12 for their position. Shane had a little bit of a rough one over there.
Yikes.
Look, when you go bold, unfortunately, things like this are going to happen. But if you trust the process, right? Amir Abdullah did out-snap Chuba Hubbard and saw more targets. So I was right there. Unfortunately, no, it was not a banner week. I went with DK because basically I'm in love with DK and I want to have his babies. And I trust Urban Meyer, and he just kicked me in the balls. But at least I'm not the only person he does that to.
I mean, he's out there kicking kickers and kicking people's confidence. It's bad over there for Urban Meyer.
Brilliant segue, Shane. Well done.
Look, I've done this before.
Oh, really? Oh, damn.
Yeah, right.
Let's actually hop onto that, and we'll come back to the dose score after to talk about some players who might be interested in playing. But let's go ahead and hop into Urban Meyer and what's going to happen. I mean,
do we have to?
Well, we have I believe a previous front office executive, if not, somebody that was involved in the fantasy, or I'm sorry, in the NFL community over there with salary caps and whatnot. So tell us a little bit about that and what you think could end up happening over there.
So I used to work in the salary cap department. It's not necessarily like the front office world that it looks like. It's more of the accounting side of stuff. But
no flex. It's fine.
For what we hear, which is a lot, or what we heard, I guess, which is a lot. I think it's going to be really, really, really tough for Jacksonville to do anything until the owner is invested at a personal level, right? Because it's very clearly he's monetarily invested. It's very clearly that he cares, but he doesn't care like a Jerry Jones cares, or like you see in Carolina where David Tepper cares, right? Where it's clear if you're not the guy, he's going to move on immediately. We're going to get rid of you. We don't care. It doesn't matter. Quarterback 1 year gone. Coach 1 year gone. Offensive coordinator 1 year gone. And it just seems that Shad Khan is going to live and die with Urban Meyer. And I think the big problem there are a multitude of issues here. One, Urban Meyer has no sustained success at the NFL level, right? So there's no credibility to say these are isolated incidents that won't happen again. Worse than that, hiring Trent Baalke as their general manager made no sense to anybody, which everybody and their mother was like, this is a terrible hire. None of this makes sense. And then on top of that, Shad Khan reportedly had him hire NFL coaches that had, guys that had NFL experience. And so now you have mismatched pieces all over this board in Jacksonville. And the end result is you may waste Trevor Lawrence. And that absolutely it can't happen. Right.
And so sad.
You have to, absolutely have to. One of the two things has to happen. Either you need to get rid of everybody but Urban Meyer and let him do it his way, or you need to get rid of Urban Meyer and Trent Baalke, hit the reset button after 1 year, and figure out what direction you want to go. Because it's not working, right? Like, there's not even progress. That's the problem.
So the Urban Meyer way, though, that would be just like a bunch of girls dancing on the sidelines while he fakes a heart attack. Is that what we're talking about?
The cheerleaders are going to increase tenfold, so you're going to see just as many cheerleaders on the sideline as you are NFL players.
Cool.
But
oh my god!
Cool. So and obviously I'm a way outsider. The only thing that I thought was interesting is that Shad Khan even acknowledged that it's a thought. It's something that he has to think about. Like, are we keeping this guy? I thought it was, and maybe I read too much into things, but I'm very selective with my words. When people say things, I look to them and be like, okay, well, what do you mean? I'm parsing that. He could have easily just said, Urban's our coach. That he's our coach. There's no reason for him to even basically followed up with like, I'm thinking I'm going to look at this and we'll see what we're going to do. He did cite that, Doug Marrone and Gus Bradley also sucked, which I thought was funny. But he also noted that their issues were just wins and losses was their only problem. Whereas, Urban, it's losses and everything else. I and part of this is just, I want it to happen. I know that. I'm every other NFL fantasy football fan that just goes, "You're ruining the greatest quarterback prospect since Peyton Manning, dude. What are you doing? I paid like 4 firsts for this guy. Like, you need to go away." All my opinions are colored with that, I will admit.
Well, real quick, I do want to give a shout out to Robert in the chat. Robert's coming in, bringing some questions. If you all have any questions, please bring them in the chat. We will get on those. I know that we're going to see a lot less interaction from fantasy football discussion tonight, considering the playoffs probably eliminated, close to 80%, 85% of the people out there. So
only if you listen to my start and sit
those
decisions.
So then, isn't it about time that we switch to Dynasty Intervention?
Very close. We're getting there, Shane. We're almost there. We're almost there. We got a couple more weeks, and then we'll be there, buddy. We'll be all in there. But I do want to bring up, if they want to save some money because Jacksonville isn't bringing in a ton of money for their games and their revenue, they should look for somebody like, I don't know, Kai Farley, I believe, the assistant GM, I believe now for the New Orleans Saints. He's somebody that's over there making them look absolutely brilliant by creating a whole entire new twist on the salary cap and ways to structure it, and I love that. And I think that having a guy like that come in to be the GM who's seen the Saints built successfully year after year after year would be a big start to how they actually want to build this organization if they're willing to pay him. But he can actually save them money by figuring out more loopholes in the salary cap. So let's answer this question by Robert, and then I want to get on to the rest of this news. Robert asked, should I roll Rodgers for the rest of the year or Dak? Dak has been super mediocre lately. Yes, he has, but you got to feel like the breakout game is coming for Dak. Meanwhile, Aaron Rodgers, as we get closer to the tail end of the season, we're going to be seeing a lot more AJ Dillon, Aaron Jones. I believe Aaron Rodgers sees a decrease of, 4 to 8% of his passing attempts over the last 4 weeks of the season compared to the previous 12 weeks or 12 games, I should say. So Rodgers, I still think that Rodgers is absolutely worth a hold, but I don't want to give up on Dak yet. Thomas, we'll start out with you.
I'm playing Rodgers because it's the playoffs now, and I can't afford a dud game. And you know who's really unlikely to give you a dud game? That guy that's thrown 4 picks this year instead of on 27 interceptions, who has a pretty good schedule. Like, Baltimore can allow big plays. Cleveland, I'm gonna go Green Bay there, and then Minnesota. If it's the playoffs, I'm riding Rodgers because Dak's been he's the QB 12, whatever. He missed a game, that's fine, but he hasn't really been that explosive. Now his matchups are great. Giants, Washington, that's fantastic, but I'm just not gonna trust Dak for me. I'm going Aaron Rodgers for sure.
I hate agreeing with people. But yeah, I'm gonna go Rodgers.
One for one, baby.
There's a reason I just traded for Adams. I just traded for Adams in a league is because of that schedule. And also Adams is really good, but the schedule helped. The schedule is nice, and even looking at Rodgers, I did look at his points in the last few weeks, going back to 2016, 17, 18. It wasn't. 2016 and 2017, it wasn't great. 2018 was fine. 2019 was brutal, but that was a bad year all around. 2020, his MVP year last year, he was great. I think we're closer to seeing that guy than we are the other guy. So I'm going to go with A-Rod, and I just haven't seen enough from Dak for me to trust him.
What up, Husker?
I'm with you guys, but I think I'm with you guys for a different reason, right? Like, a big part of it is you don't want to regret a start-sit decision. And I don't think there's a way possible if you put Aaron Rodgers in your lineup, you're getting Aaron Rodgers. Like, you can live with Dak Prescott outscoring him because of the schedule, whatever, right? I think this is the time of the year where you're sitting there looking at these two and you're like, okay, can I trust Dak Prescott? I mean, if you have no other option, the answer is obviously yes. You drafted him early. You're gonna, if you're afforded the luxury to pick between the two, I would go Rodgers simply because, one, we know they're going to try to throw the ball. That's a given. The other thing, too, is Dak's entire team, it seems like every week someone's missing. And we've seen Rodgers have weeks where, it doesn't matter who goes out. He still puts up the numbers that you need him to put up. Like, I just believe in Green Bay's offense more than I believe in Dallas's. And for that reason, I don't know how you feel good about sitting Rodgers for Dak in any situation.
And there's the non-zero chance that if there are receivers missing from Green Bay, Rodgers isn't scared to run. Rodgers, I don't mean to sound like Dak is scared to run. I didn't mean to say it like that, but this is where Rodgers sneaky, because he's white, sneaky mobility comes into play.
Like, and the other thing too, the Cowboys get the Giants and Washington the next 2 weeks. They could go up 17 points so early, and they could just keep running out the corpse that is Ezekiel Elliott and just run the ball in the A gap 25 straight times, and game's over.
Hey, Zeke said he feels great today.
I bet he did. Huge load incoming. Huge load incoming.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's like 10% of 2017. No, so yeah, it's something that's where like I still don't want to give up on Dak, especially facing Arizona week 17. I think that could be a winning week for your championships. I think it's going to be a competitive game, but I can understand not wanting to play him, but I would still hold on to it because as Anand brought up, like I wouldn't regret benching Dak Prescott for Aaron Rodgers. However, if I got beat in the finals by Dak Prescott because an opposing team picked up Dak Prescott and played him up against Arizona, that would be the tough part for me.
Well, you don't drop him.
Yeah, why would you drop him? What are you?
Well, if it's a single quarterback league, league.
It's a zero.
You're already in the playoffs.
It's a zero-sum game, right?
Yeah, you have to keep him. Even in a one quarterback
league,
I just wanted to establish that. You got to keep on your roster.
So you were arguing the negative.
That was going to be an old school Chicago style 3-on-1.
Yeah, because I can't argue against anything you guys said. Like, there's nothing that made me want to feel differently about what you guys said. But I had to make a point to not drop Dak Prescott.
Also, play Superflex.
Let's go with COVID, because they have over 689 cases over the past 2 days or something insane.
672,421.
We just had the Browns deal with this in 2020 where they didn't have any wide receivers to come out and play. And now they're having another outbreak this year. It's like, what did you not learn? Like, where did something not compute in your head where you should probably be following the protocol as we get closer to the playoffs and we have to make a run?
Here's the problem. People are allowed personal freedoms in America, right? That's one of the great things about America.
I mean, you're getting paid millions of dollars.
Unfortunately, there's a lot of stupid people in this country too, so the choices that they make are generally fucking stupid. So whatever. Kevin Stefanski probably not going to coach this week. Baker Mayfield, although I don't feel like this is downgrade, might not play. I think I'd rather
lateral.
Case Keenum. I think I like Case Keenum more than him. But DPJ wasn't on that list, right?
The numbers.
Jarvis was on the list. Austin Hooper's on the list.
Yep.
Now, look, if they're vaccinated, though, I didn't see their vaccination status. So if any of them are vaccinated and they get 2 negatives, they have to be a day apart, 24 hours apart, they'll be on the field. So it's the Browns. If you're throwing the Browns out there, like I don't like your chances particularly a lot in the playoffs anyway.
Just protect Nick Chubb. That's all I care about.
Other than Nick Chubb, right?
Protect him, please, for all that is holy.
And
Could the Browns not have done this last week? That would have been great. I would have really appreciated that.
Yeah,
bastards.
It's just so the wording of how they put this rule into place is very, very weird, right? So the language is, if a club can't play due to COVID spike in vaccinated individuals, will attempt to minimize the competitive and economic burden on both participating teams. But the weird part of it is the paragraph after that, which is postponements will only occur if required by government authorities, medical experts, or at the commissioner's discretion. So
medical experts,
right. Well, essentially they're giving themselves the ultimate out.
Well, they said commissioner. I mean,
right.
So it's like, all right, the governor, or the federal government could step in, or Roger Goodell, whichever. It's the same difference.
Right.
Same difference.
Right. At the end of the day,
basically a government official
should have the same amount of power, right?
Yeah, it's like, FEMA or Roger Goodell. Well, whichever, it's fine.
The Goodell bot was like the most accurate skit I've ever seen on South Park.
Oh man,
it's just it just makes me laugh, right? Because it's very, the logic behind moving this Browns game should absolutely be moved to Tuesday, right? Because the thing is, if they did everything right, like Denver's punishment, the reason they played without a quarterback last year is because they broke protocol. That was essentially a punishment. It was, hey, we understand you're going to have to start an undrafted free agent wide receiver as your quarterback
who played quarterback in college or high school.
Right. Like we understand that, but you screwed up. So this isn't on us. In this case, if the Browns didn't do anything wrong, logically they should move that game to Tuesday. I just don't think they will. They came out and said they haven't had discussions about postponing, but like as a community, as a whole, we're all just sitting there like, I don't know how this makes your product better. The product of the game on Tuesday would be better than the product you're going to put out on Saturday.
But how would
they care about the product? They're going to make their money anyway. They don't really care about the product.
That's going to be hard to watch, man.
They've let the Lions play football for 20 years. They don't care about the product.
This is absolutely fair.
But all right, so then they would have to move a game, the Sunday game, most likely over to next Monday as well then, right? For the Browns. Then you have 2 Monday night games just like they did last season when they had a game on Tuesday. They shifted it back, and I'm sure the revenue isn't as great having a game on Tuesday night as it probably would be on Saturday after the college football season ends. So I'm sure that the revenue has to do, with a little bit of it. Like I'm sure that's not the whole thing, but that probably has a little bit to do with it.
Yeah, I mean, and trust me, they're not hurting for the money by any means, but I get the revenue part of it. It's just from objectively a point, right? Like even if you moved it to Monday and made the Monday night doubleheader, right? Like it's just a tough thing to ask a team that's gotten hit with, 18 or 19? Like you're talking head coach, starting quarterback, starting tight end, starting wide receiver. I mean, it literally down the line, like the most important positions in your organization, and they're not going to have any of them. I don't know. Look, like I understand that at some point you've got to just play the game, but man, that seems like not even just a regular, COVID protocol thing. It seems like they're going to be with half a team. Like they're going to struggle to get 53 guys on a plane out there. So I don't know what you do.
Maybe they just realize that Case Keenum that Baker Mayfield really won't matter that much, and they can just play Keenum, and they're thinking, it'll be fine. It'll be the same team. It's fine. It's the Browns. They'll be all right.
All right, so we got a question coming in from Jamal. What's going on, Jamal? Once again, he just wants to know how we're doing, and he wants to hear me rant about how Craig Reynolds is not a good pickup on the waiver wires again because he's not a good player. I mean, this dude got caught from behind by a guy that was 7 yards backpedaling away from him, and he got caught from behind because he runs a 4.7 140 or 4.66 at his pro day.
Faster than you?
Debatable. Maybe right now.
Not
maybe
really.
right now.
After
a few beers.
Here's the thing. So
not in your prime. I hurt my knee in high school.
Beautiful thing about running back is you don't really need to be all that good. You just need to be good enough. If you get enough opportunity, you're good for fantasy football. You have and the line of demarcation, and I found it out this year, is Tony Jones Jr. Because you get 11 rushing attempts for 11 yards, and you get me 5.2 in a fantasy league, but luckily it was because it was PPC. You get more for the points per carry than you did for your yardage. Anywho, so that's the line of demarcation. Tony Jones Jr. I think Craig Reynolds is probably right there. He went to Kutztown, man.
You think he's above Tony Jones?
He's already outproduced Tony Jones when Tony Jones had his chance. So yes,
but he had a wide open gaping hole.
Look, we've seen running backs miss wide open gaping holes. Trent Richardson. I mean, come on, there was the whole side of the field.
Oh man, but you have a bad offense now.
You've always had a bad offense. That offense has never been good.
I know
Jamal proving you don't need to be a good running back. Just need volume for
you need volume,
years,
and you need to be
volume
decent. You need to be volume, and then you need to be okay enough. And if Swift can't go, which doesn't
care
sound like
about volume,
and if Jamal can't go, guess what? Fire up your Craig Reynolds, because that's what Detroit did. They could have went with Godwin, and they were like, nah, we're good. They could have went with the other dude. I don't even remember his name now because I don't think he got a touch.
Yeah, I can't get on board with Craig Reynolds. And I'm not going to go on another rant, Jamal. You heard it last night. I don't need to bore everybody with my rants. So let's go ahead and hop on to a quick overview.
We could talk about Pat Freiermuth over Kyle Pitts again if you want, because I'd love to keep ranting about that.
Oh, no, we got a show because this show already goes for too long. So
I'm just saying, I got that one locked and loaded because I got cut off last time. Just so you know, I'm locked and loaded.
All right, so real quick, the dose score absolutely crushed last week. It's dumb off containment efficiency score. You guys can find it over there at fantasyintervention.com/DOCE. It's when you can tell that you can play pass catching running backs. I primarily use it for DFS over like season long leagues, but if you're in a pinch, Jacob has recommended it multiple times where he had to make a decision between two players, and he went with, whichever one had the better matchup in the pass catching game, and he's hit multiple times this year, and I've crushed on DFS. This week we had, out of the top 12, there was only one game where the dump off containment efficiency score was proven wrong for the top teams, and that was the Los Angeles Chargers, who were ranked 4th overall prior to this week, and Saquon Barkley came in. So I want to bring this up real quick. Saquon Barkley came in. He got a touchdown in. Is Saquon Barkley getting back to where he was before, or is he just completely off y'all's radars? I'm going to start out with Shane on this one.
You mean back to where he was before, during this season?
Yeah,
not like
where do you have Saquon
ago,
Barkley?
Right? He's a running back too. He doesn't move the needle for me in any way whatsoever. Yeah, I'm fine sticking him in as my RB2. I'd like a better option, but that's not a bad option for an RB2 or a flex spot.
So you don't think his recent work in the passing game is improving his stock for you at all?
No, I mean, he's always gotten passing work, right?
To an extent.
I mean, his 3 targets last week left a lot to be desired.
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
But he got in the end zone.
But he's always gotten targets. I mean, he had 9 targets the week before, 6 before that. I mean, he gets targets. The problem isn't volume with Saquon anymore. It's that he's slightly above Craig Reynolds.
It's a bad offense. And Dallas,
Shane, I definitely thought you were going in a different direction there.
Great. Okay, maybe he's like ×2 Craig Reynolds, but
whoa. Don't
I'll just say that
Reynolds
he's closer to Craig Reynolds than he is Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Ouch. But he's got Dallas, he's got Philly. Those aren't I'm not rushing to be excited about those matchups right now, honestly. So on a bad offense, right? That doesn't even have Daniel Jones. They're at a new level of bad. So I don't know. It's murky.
Are they though? Are they?
Yes. Yes.
I mean, so in the old days, 3 years ago, I would love this situation for Saquon, because I'd go, wow, he's just going to get peppered with all these targets, but he's not doing anything with them. He's not breaking off big plays. He's not explosive. He's not what we remember. We all have this vision of him his first 2 years, and he was amazing. He hasn't been that guy in at least 3 years. I mean,
constantly recovering from an injury to your legs is kind of, it's going to take you a while.
It is tough as a running back. He does have excellent, beautiful thighs and calves and stuff, but it's kind of all for
Jello
show
right now.
It's for show, really.
It's
Anand.
He's no AJ Dillon.
I view him as a better version of what we get out of Ezekiel Elliott.
Mm-hmm.
Truly, I think that's what it is. However you feel
on a
about
worse
Ezekiel
offense,
Elliott.
or just straight up.
Just on a worse offense, absolutely. But I think he does more with the touches that he's given, right? So however you want to equitize those things, right? If you prioritize touches, obviously he's going to get more touches because no one else is going to be in that backfield. But those are lower value touches, so to speak, unless he does something special, which he still can do, obviously. It's just he's not 2018 Saquon Barkley anymore. And if you assume that putting him in, you're going to get anywhere near that, I think you're just setting yourself up to be disappointed. He is on that RB1-2 line. If you're forced to play him as an RB1, you don't feel great about it. As an RB2, you feel pretty good. But he's not the guy he was drafted as, and he's definitely not the guy that he was drafted as a couple years ago. I think people are having time letting go of the name. And
people do that with everything.
Yeah.
They'll hold on to a guy for 5 years and be like, but there's a chance.
Josh Gordon, anyone? I love him.
Oh
Love him.
Odell.
Love Josh
Jacob.
Gordon.
Hey, Odell's performing right now.
If Odell gives Cooper Kupp COVID, him and we're gonna have to.
Oh yeah, I will
than
fly to
his production.
SoFi and fight somebody.
100. We're going hands. I'm coming with you.
Yeah,
we'll link up.
I'm down.
All right. Just a reminder: if you guys have any questions, please leave them in the chat. We can't see Twitter questions, so you guys are gonna have to head over to youtube.com/fantasyintervention. Once again, that's youtube.com/fantasyintervention. You guys can bring your questions in there, and anybody that heads over to YouTube, I give priority to YouTube. So go check it out. Make sure you guys hit subscribe while you're there. Bryce comes in the chat from Fantasy Football Discussion. He says, hey, y'all, happy Wednesday. Thanks for the time. Of course, Bryce. Thank you for joining us. He wants us to pick 2 for PPR. We have Gage, we have Mooney, we have Parker, or AJ Green after AJ Green's massive game this past week and Hopkins now being out. He's leaning Gage and Mooney. Are you in agreement with him that he should go with Gage and Mooney, or would you fade a different direction? And I already know Shane is going to go with the one player who hasn't been able to play for the majority of the season. So, Shane, I'm going to go ahead and kick this one off to you.
So I guess we'll get Devontae Parker out of the way. Look, I mean, up until last week, the guy's had at least 7 targets in every game he played in, and he only had 5 and 5 receptions. The guy just, when he's actually on the field, he's going to give you some points. And man, I want to go back to Mooney because I love Mooney, but he just hasn't seen targets over the last 2 weeks.
Saw targets, he just did nothing with them.
Well,
7
he didn't
targets, 7.7 PPR points, and 5 targets and like 3 PPR points.
Well, I'm talking about like, I got excited when he got, 16 targets or whatever. So that got me all kind of hot and bothered. I thought he was going to be that guy. Like he's the new, like I thought 10 targets at least, but
the new hotness.
Yeah. But, damn, I guess I got to go AJ Green, and that hurt every part of my soul, but there's no DeAndre Hopkins, and AJ Green's coming off his best game in this decade. Yeah. In the 2020s. It's hard not to want to go with Green.
All right. What you got, Anand?
I think I'm with you on AJ Green. I mean, they play Detroit, so anybody that plays Detroit ever.
Is he going to see enough volume in this game, though? Like, is he going to see the target? I know his efficiency could be through the roof. He could get you 2 touchdowns, but is he going to see enough volume to warrant that and to think that he could see, 2 touchdowns in the red zone?
I think the big question is essentially just how much volume is James Conner going to eat up in terms of touchdowns, right? Like it seems like every week he's in the end zone once, twice, maybe 3 times. So you might get one of those weird AJ Green games where you get three catches and 90 yards, but James Conner gets all the touchdowns. I mean, if you're in this range, you're not feeling great about any of them. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, we're running in to put this guy into our lineup. I think I'm going AJ Green. I think I'm going Mooney.
Connor got hurt at the end of the game. He's questionable, and Chase Edmonds is coming off IR. They might be playing Detroit, but I don't know if they're just going to be able to run out the clock like they traditionally try to do. So Kyler Murray still might throw this ball 45 times. So
yeah,
I want to play AJ Green. Like
I do too.
It's going to be Chase Edmonds getting the receptions because the Detroit Lions are 31st in the dump-off containment efficiency score.
Great. He's not catching 25 passes.
Says who? No, I'm just kidding.
Me.
I know he's not.
Hot wing bet me right now on Chase Edmonds over under 25 catches. And the other one for me is it's going to be Russell Gage actually, and this is why. Aside from the Dallas like blip, he's been one of the safest plays over the last 4 or 5 weeks. And Matt Ryan isn't playing that dreadfully. So it depends on your matchup, right? People always say that. If you're projected to win, then take the safe, whatever. It's the playoffs. I want to make sure I'm getting targets and some production. And it's against San Francisco. So I think San Fran will be up early. I kind of like Russell Gage coming out of the slot and everything there in Atlanta. So I'm going to play Gage, and I am going to play AJ Green.
Yeah, I mean, so I've never liked Gage. I'm not a big fan of Gage, but up against San Francisco 49ers, I think this is a sneaky game. I think this is a sneaky game to be a shootout. I think it's a sneaky game to have a bunch of breakaway runs. I think it's a sneaky game to have, some deep passes up against Atlanta and up against San Francisco as well. I think we're going to see a lot more high efficient type plays in this game where you're going to have, like I said, it's going to be 60-yard reception, 50-yard runs, which is going to end up allowing for more offensive possessions. And that's great for Russell Gage, to get the targets. I'm not a Russell Gage fan, but I think I'm going to go Gage and Parker this week. Although, I mean, I think that these are all solid flex options that all have very high floors and also have very low ceilings. So you kind of got to go with, with whatever one like you're willing to die with. And I think we're all coming from the right place in mind when it comes to projecting it, but we all just have different reasons as to why.
I mean, if you're going ceiling, I want Mooney. I mean, because he's the one that could rip off a 70-yard reception. Like, it's not like it's in a realm of possibility because he's done it multiple times. Like, he's the big play guy. So if I'm a decided underdog, I'm not starting Gage. And I like how we all go, well, you know, look, no one likes Gage. I don't like Gage. I don't want anyone thinking I like Gage. Like in case anyone was going to be like, you're a Gage guy. Everybody's like, I need to preface this with, I don't like Gage.
Breaking news.
Yeah.
Shane is a Gage truther.
I just as an aside, 2 weeks ago, I did Gage in a waiver wire article, and my first sentence was something to the effect of like, once every season, you have to suggest pick up Russell Gage. This is that time of the season. I have to suggest you pick up Russell Gage.
It's just like at some point every season, someone's going to recommend that you grab Rashad Penny.
Yeah.
No,
I did.
unfortunately, I bet you did. Ugh.
I did it about 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Gross.
And hey, I started him this past week in my home league, and it paid off. I didn't need it to. I crushed the guy by 70 points. So I was like victory lapping pretty much nothing. I could have left him on the bench and still won. It would have been a lot cooler if, I won by like 1 point and I'm like, ha, bitch, I started Rashad Penny over you. What's up? But no, all right. So let's go ahead and pop onto this next segment. I still see that we have questions coming in. We will get to those questions, but I do want to get this next segment kicked off. And what's up, Scott? Thanks for joining in. He said, shout out to Anand, Columbus, Ohio, and super excited. We have 2 SEC teams in the college football playoff.
Isn't that standard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we all kind of saw, well, I don't know if everybody saw kind of Bama beating Georgia. That was one of my things during the week where I just kind of sat there and I'm like, it's Nick Saban. And for whatever reason, I think everybody had written him off and kind of penciled Georgia in as the number 1 seed already. I was like, this is weird. I don't like this. I think Bama finds a way to win this game. And they obviously do. I mean, Georgia's one of the 4 best teams in the country. There's no denying that. And I mean, I think they got the right 4 teams. I don't think you can argue about the order all you want. Ultimately speaking, they got the 4 right teams in. And if you want to win it all, you got to win twice. So,
yeah,
I mean, it is what it is. And, that Michigan loss hurts my soul, but I mean, it's inevitably bound to happen. So it was never going to be fun, whatever day that was.
All right. So let's kick off this next segment. Before we do, if y'all are watching on YouTube, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and keep those comments coming in. We really appreciate you guys tuning in for the show. So let's go ahead and hop on to the segment where we actually pick, streaming options for quarterbacks or tight ends. We pick any quarterback or tight end outside the top 15 from the ESPN rankings that they have. And then we pick running backs and wide receivers outside the top 20. And we pick these guys to finish inside the top 12 of their position. So we're going to help out some flex positions. We're going to help out some people that stream quarterbacks, or maybe, you have a back end quarterback and you need somebody to pull off the waiver wires just for a week. Once again, just to stream. We're giving you some guys. And last week was hot. So hopefully we continue it this week. I'm going to start out with the quarterback position just to get us started so that Shane has a chance to actually look up his answers. And
I was actually going to outsource my picks this week because honestly, does it matter anymore at this point?
It might. You never know. You could get hot just like I did.
Right.
The last 3 weeks of the season. All right, so I'm taking Jimmy G. He's been a hot streak as of late. He had 2 consecutive weeks of 290 yards, 2 touchdowns. The 49ers secondary has had major issues over the past 3 to 4 weeks. I mean, they've been struggling in that secondary. I think Jimmy Garoppolo stays hot. I said this is kind of like my sneaky bet for a shootout type week that's going to hit the over. I think it's sitting at 46 over under. I think that we could see it hit in the mid 50 range. I think that Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be a major part of that, and I think he's going to see plenty of opportunities to do so. The Atlanta Falcons are going to keep this game competitive for the first part of it. Jimmy Garoppolo is worth picking up, putting on your starts. So, Shane, who you got?
I mean, as usual, I hate all these fucking choices. God. Man, I remember coming into the season when I was like, quarterback will be deep. All these rookies coming in. It's like, I'm just going with Joe Burrow, literally, because he's the closest to 15 that's good. I I don't even care, like with his dislocated or deformed pinky, that he's going to have amputated during the game or whatever. He's still better than every choice underneath him. So I'm not even touching this, guys. That's it.
And what's up? We got Jacob, who is normally on our show with us. He's in the chat right now. I'm guessing he just finished it off. So, yeah, dude, Jacob, man, I crushed you this past week. I got to send you over the results because it was absolutely brutal. I just wanted to throw that in your face since you're on the show right now. But no, we have a few comments coming in. He said, also, I miss a show, and Shane turns into a Gage truther.
My fault. My fault. My fault.
Oh, man.
We didn't need you to throw a joke at Shane because Jacob came in just to do that. Absolutely love it.
I knew my man was going to come through.
Oh, man. Anand, you got a guy? You got a quarterback?
Yeah, give me Derek Carr. Goes back to, I think the Browns are decimated. It's not like he doesn't have weapons. I mean, he might get Waller back. Like, I mean, you're for a guy that ESPN has ranked 21. I could definitely see Derek Carr giving you a week where, you know, he enters into that top 10, maybe even top 8, just based on matchup and based on the guys that he has available that Cleveland just doesn't.
Wait, did you just say he doesn't have weapons?
No, I said he does have weapons. I said he
got
does
Hunter.
have
I was going to say,
He's
how
got
dare
the
you
Hunter.
besmirch the wide receiver 12, Hunter Renfrow?
Jim Red.
Renfrow.
How dare you?
Matt would try to talk to you about Brian Edwards.
Oh, God. No.
I remember Brian Edwards.
No.
I
Oh,
still love Brian Edwards. I still love him. I can't.
I
let
bet
go.
you do, Colin Johnson.
Well, you know what? Next year,
Colin Johnson. Did you know how bad
Chase.
Jacksonville wishes they had Colin Johnson right now?
Oh my
yeah,
God,
that's true.
That's why you don't think the Giants are worse on offense, because you just think Colin Johnson's coming in to save
He
them.
had a good
Eventually,
game.
he will.
Chase, next year you can draft Brian Edwards in our CFL draft.
Oh,
Whoa,
ouch.
whoa. Don't you put
Ouch.
Brian Edwards in the CFL. Don't you besmirch our league like that.
Oh man. And then who's going to run all those useless routes that he's been running?
Only Brandon Banks
Zay
can
Jones
come to
will
the
do
CFL
that.
and be elite.
Oh god. Big shout out to Faith in the chat as well. All right.
Yeah, Zay
Thomas.
Jones, a real NFL wide
Let's
receiver.
knock out the wide receivers while we're here.
Well, I want to see what Thomas. You got to pick one. I don't want too much, analysis because we do got to keep the show moving.
Well, I'm just gonna steal Jacobs because I'm replacing him right now. And like I said in the beginning,
I already said G.
Brandon Ayuk.
Oh, that's why you
we're
said
doing
you
receivers. Yeah. Yeah,
Dude,
I'm
Jacob,
going.
you didn't
I'm
read the
going to
show
Brandon Ayuk because that's what Jacob would say, and I called that he would say that, and now it's being said in the chat as
You
his
actually
pick.
did call
So
that. You
Brandon
did call that
Ayuk. I did.
100%.
100%. I
All
know
right.
my man, so it's Brandon Ayuk because
Don't
I'm
like
Jacob
Gage,
Sanderson.
Not even his mom. I see your name, Shane.
Ouch.
Oh my god! All right,
Ouch.
so let's answer this question real quick because we got a running back question. So we'll go from here into the running backs. We have Jamal in the chat saying he needs an RB2 for PPR. Roll with James Robinson or swap with Freeman or Chuba Hubbard. Also, any word on Elijah Mitchell's health? I think Elijah Mitchell's playing, right? Like
He's still not practicing. He was off to the side of the field, which I don't actually know what that means. Like apparently he hung out at practice and was talking to people.
He was working with like a trainer or something. I don't know. It was weird.
But he's recovering from a concussion. I think his finger's still broken. He's made of paper mache.
So 30
he's gonna
carries
be
are incoming.
So
That's what it is.
overdrafted this upcoming year. He's gonna be so overdrafted.
He will be
in
appropriately
2022.
drafted, sir.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be overdrafted. If he gets on the field, the dude is a stud. I'm just
Yeah, he's just gonna stay on the field.
He's got a lot of injuries right now. He hasn't practiced yet today. So eye that because if given the choice, I'm going with Elijah Mitchell if he's playing. Not Chuba, okay? It's not him because Amir Abdullah is out snapping him, and just because the process went wrong one time doesn't mean anything. Man, I guess Freeman, I can count on consistent volume, right?
Don't
James
play Freeman.
Robinson, I can't count on anything there. Like he dominated the touches in the backfield last week, but that was like eight touches total. Like
I don't think he got any yards with it either.
No, he did something like 6 for 6 yards. He had a Tony Jones. So I'll go with Devontae, but if Elijah's playing, he's my first choice.
Yeah, it's Elijah Mitchell. And I mean, honestly, you're in a tough spot, but I think Freeman's probably the right answer in that one up until we see something different.
Hey, Freeman's not a bad running back, too. I can't believe I'm saying this because I said the guy was completely washed. And I refused to
is
pick him
washed.
up on dynasty waivers in a lot of leagues. Like I did it in like 3 leagues, and then I was like, that's enough. I'm not doing this anymore. And I kind of regret it now. But he's looked pretty good.
I wouldn't play Freeman. I wouldn't play Freeman in this game. If Jackson's not playing, I wouldn't play Freeman in this game. And I actually would play James Robinson. If Trevor Lawrence already yelled at Urban Meyer to put Robinson in the game and now he gets Houston.
Hey,
Yeah.
he yelled at him last week.
Yeah,
Didn't
that's the
get
thing.
any
He
results.
yelled
That's what I
last
mean.
week.
And now he gets Houston. So
Jacksonville's offense is historically so bad that I can't trust anything on that offense.
Houston
Like,
was so bad, Rashad Penny played well.
Rashad Penny. Okay, first of all,
That's a good
was
point.
drafted ahead of Nick Chubb in many of a dynasty draft.
Good for him. I'm happy
Um,
for him.
Hilarious.
So his
But
talent
Houston's
level,
so bad
Objectively,
his
that's
talent
hilarious.
level,
after
talent
4
level-
years. Houston was so bad that they were finally like, you know what? Hell, he's
Listen,
earned it.
Penny is
Let's
that
let Penny
good.
have one.
Did you not see the Penny stiff arm? He sent that Texan to New York. Like he was just like, oh,
Yeah,
like, you
he
can't
sent that
contain
Texan
Rashad
to
Penny.
New York to start his next venture of his career as a busboy. So, yeah, I play J-Rob.
It's just mean.
He's going the corner route over there. All right, so for running backs,
Reverse.
I'm going to start out with the running
Warner's
backs.
good.
We got Chase Edmonds over there up against Detroit. You know, I brought it up briefly earlier. Detroit is the second worst team up against pass catching running backs. They have a 7.93 dump off containment efficiency score. It's brutal. And the thing about Detroit is we don't know how good they are or how bad they are because they haven't played anybody. I mean, like they had Aaron Jones who had like 3 receiving touchdowns, right? I believe back in like week 2 or 3. And, you know, he set them off and started, you know, the trend. Outside of that, I think they've played like one great pass catching running back since then. They've only played 13 that qualify, which you need 10 or more routes run in order to qualify. And the average team thus far in the season has played about 20 or so. So them playing 7 less pass catching running backs, we really don't know what we have with Detroit. However, we do know that they're bad. And we do know that every time that James Conner sees 15 or more touches, we all cringe. So we know the coaching staff has to somewhat cringe as well, because it's nauseating to think that he could actually, you know, get that amount of touches and not get hurt. Like that has never happened for James Conner since what is his second or third year in the league. So I know that they don't allow a ton of points. I think it's like 7.9 or maybe 9 points per game to the pass catching running backs. I think that Chase Edmonds will still see a decent workload coming back from injury, and the efficiency should be through the roof. Detroit is allowing like 11% breakaway run rate, which is somewhat middle of the league, but Chase Edmonds has the 5th highest breakaway run rate for a running back, per carry on the season. So I'm sitting there thinking that Chase Edmonds could absolutely smash this week, and not a lot of people are going to be ballsy enough to play him just because of the fact that he is coming back from this injury. But he was almost ready for next week. He was game time decision, ended up getting ruled out. They didn't activate him. He should be fine for this week. I'm rolling out Chase Edmonds without a doubt in my mind. I think he's going to smash this week. Shane?
I'm going to go with the same guy that keeps kicking me in the nuts, Miles Sanders.
Oh, man.
Don't we all? Don't
Ankle
we all?
injury inbound.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to happen. The one week I didn't pick him, he went nuts and then, of course, injured his ankle. So this week I'm going to pick him again. There's 100% chance that he's going to be in a split backfield with Jordan Howard, Kenny Gainwell, and Boston Scott. And shit, they might just call up the slow running back they had from FSU a couple years ago, the guy that ran the 6.5 40. I don't even remember his name anymore. They're just going to recall him too. No, look, Sanders, I liked what I saw volume-wise, right? They gave him the volume the last game. Kenny Gainwell got most of his work after, I think he had 7 of his attempts after Miles Sanders decided to sprain an ankle by walking. I think he walked and he sprained his ankle because that's just what Sanders does. I'm hoping he makes it to at least the 4th quarter before this latest injury. That's going to be enough to give me a good week.
All right, Anand, you got a guy?
Yeah, give me Michael Carter coming back off IR, and we've seen the volume that he gets when he's there, and I feel like there's no reason to reinvent the wheel, so to speak. They're playing Miami, and we kind of have seen how Jets Dolphins games go. They're kind of wacky. They're a little weird. I think that as far as the range that we're looking at, I think that's about as much upside as you can get there. I think that's the guy that I would go with in Michael Carter.
There's no one else there to catch passes.
Yeah.
Like there's nobody. Like Elijah Moore's out. Corey Davis is out.
Just going to discount Ty Johnson.
Yes.
Like he's not even a human being.
Hey, he earned his targets last. What do you have? Four receptions last week for like 40 yards. I think he hit 8 points exactly, which I didn't know whether to score that as a win or a loss in the dose score column.
It's a loss.
440 or 440.
Well, it depends on how you're looking at it. They contain the shit out of him. Considering
that's a win then.
The only other running back on the field was Tevin Coleman, who was busy getting concussed, and Ty Johnson still couldn't give you points.
The Saints are seventh. The Saints are seventh in dump off containment efficiency score. So I think that would be considered a win for them to keep them, at just 8 points, because that's not enough to win you anything. All right, let's go ahead and hop over to this question real quick, and then it'll bring us into the wide receivers. We got a question in for Robert. He said, I have a first round bye, but looking for a matchup next week. Should I do Higgins against the Ravens or Cooper versus Washington? This is for flex, as I have Adams and Keenan Allen as my starters. So obviously with this being a week out, week and a half out, I mean, half these players or all of these players could end up having COVID at the rate that we're going right now. So that's not pretty. And I know this is tough to play it. So Robert, if you can come back next week, that would be great, but we can still attempt to answer it and see what happens between now and then.
T. Higgins.
Yeah.
Baltimore has 3 healthy cornerbacks on their roster right now. They're playing a 6'4", 200-pound undrafted free agent starting it outside. Play T. Higgins. Baltimore's going to get slapped the rest of the season. So I'm not happy about it, but play T. Higgins.
I agree. I concur.
I don't love it either. I don't love it either, but I would go Higgins too. I mean, there's Gallup there, and they're going to try and give Zeke the ball, and you've got CeeDee Lamb. Like there's a lot of targets to go around in Dallas, but if you're looking for any kind of upside, I think Higgins against Baltimore is where you have to go.
Yeah. Everett or Higgins. The matchup is hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, if they're playing anybody but Baltimore, I think we all go Cooper. But
it makes me cry as a Ravens fan. But yeah, it's gonna be bad and ruthless.
Yeah. And Robert, I don't appreciate the question because this is clearly just bragging. Oh, well, I'm starting Adams and Keenan Allen, and I have to sit either Amari Cooper or T. Higgins.
I got the bye.
The victory laps are always fun, right?
Yes, they are. And I see Jimmy does have a question in the chat as well. We'll get to that as soon as we hit the tight ends. Keep those questions coming. Robert's over there laughing his ass off. All right, let's go ahead and hop over to the wide receiver position. I'll start it out again. I'm going to go with Mooney. I know we talked about Mooney earlier and how we weren't sure if we wanted to start him or not, but I think that if I'm going for this elite, upside like we talked about, Mooney is the dude. I mean, the Vikings have struggled up against speed guys, right? And they've struggled up against slot guys as of late. And Mooney has been both those. He's been playing at least 20% or 20 snaps out of the slot each week. We look at who the Vikings have allowed. Keenan Allen, 8 receptions, 98 yards. Devontae Adams played some snaps out of the slot that week. That's 7 receptions, 115 yards. They struggled with the speed guy with MVS, 123 yards. I mean, it's just like week after week, we just see just them going off it's a broken record essentially. Hey, just play the fast guys that play the slot, and we'll allow you to do whatever you want to do. So Darnell Mooney has a very advantageous matchup this week up against the Vikings. As long as Justin Fields can get his mind right and get a little bit more accurate than what he has been, I think that Darnell Mooney has an excellent chance to smash this week and get back to what he was doing back a few weeks ago. I also want to see an increase in targets, which I think happens with the Bears defense and how bad it's been as of late. I think the Vikings can put up points on them. All right, Anand, do you want to hop onto this next one since Shane's taken?
I already picked my answer.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
There are 2 that jumped out to me immediately: Brandon Cooks and McLaurin. And I don't trust Houston though, and that's what it is. Ultimately, I'll come back to Terry because I just think realistically, as a receiver, he's just better than everybody in this range. And I think for that reason and that reason alone, I know Philly's been better this year than we thought on defense, but I give me McLaurin.
So can I just counterpoint, because I'm not actually picking receiver because I gave mine already because you told me to last time. I'd rather play Cooks because Heineke may not even be healthy enough to play. And that scares me for who they're going to roll out next. And even with Heineke, McLaurin's been disappointing. Cooks has at least done it with Mills.
Yeah.
So
Mills.
Yeah.
I'm
I mean, I don't think you go
happier
wrong with either of
rolling
them.
out Cooks.
So 2 points to
Personally,
this.
I just wanted to give a counter there because I
Yeah,
don't actually have.
I mean, I
input.
think either of them you'd be. I think both of them are going to exceed where they are on this list.
Yeah,
I wanna bring up-
that's legit.
I'm
wanna-
already.
I need to bring up 2 points.
I was
One is
picking
they think that
Cooks.
Taylor
Damn
Heineke
it.
is going to play. Taylor Heineke is likely to play this week. They're saying that the bigger concern is his elbow, not his knee. And his elbow, he's throwing the ball just fine today. He was over on the sidelines.
Quarterbacks
by
don't
stomping on
need
him.
knees.
Well, just fine
So-
for how he throws it. Sure.
But the bigger concern for me, more so than Heineke, is how many times will Taylor Heineke put Terry McLaurin in a position to get his head ripped off? In this game.
Yeah.
What's the over under? 3, 4?
3 to
Like
4.
I mean,
I
Jesus, man.
would rather bet on how many catches Darius Slay would have over McLaurin in this.
Oh
game.
my god!
I think that's an over under I would actually play. If
Big
it was there.
play
I just-
Slay.
I had the catharsis. I had the moment where I saw what Taylor Heineke was watching him on Sunday. It's Brett Favre without Brett Favre's arm.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
that's
exactly
what
what
it
he's.
is.
That's
Yeah.
exactly
He's
Two
noodle
days.
Favre. He's noodle Favre for sure.
crazy.
All right. Shane,
Well-
you're going with Cook?
I was going with Cooks just because Davis Mills is his binky. 30% target share with Davis Mills at quarterback. 30% target share.
It's his what now?
Not his binky. It's his binky. So that's literally the only reason. And I believe they're playing.
Davis Mills
Jacksonville.
Binky.
Okay, that's going to be a low key shootout if Urban gets COVID. But he probably won't. So Cooks is probably going to give you 15 points. But you know what? I'll take it.
He needs
Mills
to head
has
up
been
to
better than
Cleveland.
Lawrence.
He needs to head up Cleveland and start dancing with some girls up there. All right,
Wow.
let's go ahead and hop over to this question about the tight end position. Best waiver wire tight end. We should probably cover ours and then see if there's somebody that we didn't discuss. Because I mean, Jamal comes in and says Brevin Jordan, which I love Brevin Jordan. I moved him up my rankings like 3 spots today, and I still think I'm too low. I still think I'm going to end up moving him up even 3 or 4 spots higher. It's at tight end 18. But yeah, we'll go back to that. Let's go ahead and give our tight ends, and then we'll come back to the best tight ends on the waiver. Mine is Hunter Henry. I don't understand why he's outside of the top 15. I mean, all he's done is give you like touchdown after touchdown. He's been efficient. Last week they had the snowball. The week before that, sure, he didn't get all the work. He didn't need to get the work. They had Kendrick Bourne, destroying faces, just completely melting the box score. So they didn't need Hunter Henry. I don't even know how many chances they saw in the red zone that they actually passed. I should probably look that up. But Hunter Henry this week up against the Colts, who are one of the worst teams up against the tight end position. They've allowed touchdowns, although it was at the beginning of the year. The past few weeks, they haven't done that as much. And I believe that Hunter Henry, the Colts have allowed double-digit points to every tight end that has played them since like week 7, I believe, or maybe it was week 8. But every tight end since except for one had double-digit fantasy points against them over the past like 6 games or so. So yeah, I think Hunter Henry's going to smash this week. He's my pick.
The reason Hunter Henry's outside of the top 15 at tight end is because he's the tight end 15
Then that's
in
cheating.
PPR.
You're not allowed to take. Oh, you're talking about in general. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. No, he's
On the season, that's what I mean. Like he's
got you.
literally ranked where he is on the season.
I just
I did
figured
that.
Chase was cheating as usual.
No.
He's at tight end 22.
I'm just-
tight end
I'm
22. That makes no sense to me. Up
It
against
makes
the
a
Colts.
ton
That's
of
low.
sense to me.
That's
Hunter Henry versus Darius Leonard.
Yeah, but every single tight end has destroyed the Colts, and it's not one-on-one. Hunter Henry runs deeper routes. He runs completely routes that are separate himself from Darius Leonard. Plus, Darius Leonard's busy covering the pass catching running backs. All right,
Tight end.
go.
It's Zachary Ertz
Money.
Oof.
Money.
because the other tight end for Arizona is out, so that's going to help.
You
his
took the
target
tight
share.
end 15. I see you, Shane.
Well,
I'll allow it because Jacob's not here.
Whatever. I don't care. I don't feel like looking again. I'm taking Zach Ertz because DeAndre Hopkins is out, and DeAndre Hopkins is a tight end now. So every time he's out, Zach Ertz doesn't have to share those tight end routes with anyone anymore, and his target share increase.
All right. Anand, you got a guy?
Well, I'm back and forth between two, but I think give me CJ Uzomah. I mean, we've seen him have big weeks before. It's Denver. We know what Vic Fangio is going to try to do to those outside receivers. I think that there's a sneaky chance that he gets a few of the targets that we project that Chase or Higgins or Tyler Boyd would get. I think that's especially where you can get him. I mean, ranked as tight end 21, that seems wildly low to me, ahead of guys that aren't even going to play this week. Like, I think Uzomah's got a shot to at least get you into that top 12.
Yeah, I mean, Uzomah might be available in the waivers. I doubt Hunter Henry is, so I don't think that's going to help you out very much unless somebody recently dropped him. Zach Ertz probably is not on waivers, although...
Yeah, I doubt it.
CJ Uzomah is definitely on waivers, and if you're going for an upside play, like Anand said, that's an upside play right there. Like, that's a dude that, he could legitimately give you 0, or he could give you 35. And look, most tight ends are going to give you 6.
I'm going to throw out another one over here. We have Njoku coming back with Harrison Bryant dealing with an injury, and Hooper might not play. So I think Hooper's out right now. At least I know he has the whole COVID protocol. I don't know if he'll return in time, but keep an eye on that. I would be willing to pick up David Njoku to play him. I mean, because David Njoku can give you these big time games that you need, especially for the fantasy playoffs. And if he's the only one seeing targets, we just saw what Austin Hooper did with these targets last week. And Austin Hooper was my guy last week. That was the dude that I picked. I'll be happy taking Njoku, especially if Harrison Bryant misses time. But, obviously Austin Hooper would have to miss this week as well. There's nobody else on this offense. We already brought that up. DPJ, I think, is only healthy wide receiver along with Higgins. I mean, Njoku should smash this week as if he's the only healthy tight end. And even if it's still one of the 2 tight ends, I'll take Njoku. If it's 3 tight ends, I'm out.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. I think Hooper's on the COVID list. I think they're pulling Njoku off the COVID list. So he's probably going to be the only tight end they have. I don't even think it's going to be 2. I think he's probably going to be the only tight end they have. They're probably going to have to use a fullback as a tight end or, pull up someone from a practice squad that obviously you're not going to have any faith in. So I like it too.
All right. Anybody else that might pop off? I mean, Jamal did bring up Brevin Jordan, who I love this week. Absolutely love him. I mean, he's getting the targets. He's seen increased, sharing this offense. And I mean, Texans, they have nothing to lose by playing the rookies. If they get the rookies out there, get them the reps, that's what they're going to want to do. This organization is under contract for a little bit, so I don't think that they're on the hot seat. They want to see what they have from these rookies. So I think Brevin Jordan is a brilliant play this week and moving forward as well.
Well, I mean, he's got a better rookie quarterback than Jacksonville, so it's fine. I like it.
Oh, man. All right. Let's go ahead. We got a couple questions left, so let's close out on these last 2 questions and then get everybody out of here. Y'all good?
That's a good idea.
Let's do it.
All right. We got pick 3. 2 running backs, 1 flex play, head-to-head points, Darrell Henderson, Aaron Jones, Josh Jacobs, Myles Gaskin, Michael Carter, and he also has James Robinson. I'm going to go ahead and scratch James Robinson off this list, right?
Ugh.
Yeah.
Why?
Can we go ahead and James Robinson?
Yeah.
Because he's the only one without a guaranteed workload. And Darrell Henderson, I think, just got COVID. Was that last week?
Last week. And
you'd rather keep Myles Gaskin on this list than James Robinson?
Myles Gaskin is getting volume at least, and he's not particularly efficient. Yeah. Well, that's I'm assuming he's going to play.
Guys, it's Houston. Oh I can't even. I literally cannot even.
Oh, I'm just going I'm going chalk. Aaron Jones, Josh Jacobs, and Michael Carter. Oh, is that not chalk?
Give me Jones, Carter, Robinson, easy.
Over Josh Jacobs?
Yes.
No, dude. Josh Jacobs is a pass catching maniac. I mean, he's going 6 receptions for 15 yards a game. It's wonderful.
Jones and Jacobs to me are the auto starts, and then I think you could have a discussion with Gaskin, Carter, Robinson. I think is Henderson coming back? If Henderson comes back, then I'd be tempted to put him in. But
If Hendo's playing, I'll play Hendo over Carter. But I don't know if he's coming back. That's my concern too.
Yeah, I'm locking in. I guess I'm locking in Aaron Jones, Josh Jacobs for sure. That's not even relatively close for me. Those are the two must plays. The flex play for me would be between Michael Carter and Myles Gaskin. I mean, the Jags defense is just absolutely brutal. They should have positive. Or I'm sorry, they're playing Houston. You have Miami playing. Who did I have? Sorry. Miami has. I just looked at it earlier. Where are we at, Miami? This is great radio right now. The Jets. That's what it was. Yeah, they have the Jets, and the Jets are absolutely brutal. They should have positive game script. Miami's been on a whole different level over the past 5-6 games so far. Myles Gaskin should be a focal point of this offense, and he only has to compete with Duke Johnson in order to get touches. The practice squad player. So Myles Gaskin.
Salvon Ahmed was active last game. So
didn't he get COVID? ?
Oh shit! Yeah, everyone
didn't everybody get COVID?
Yeah, everyone's got COVID. So
I was just gonna say it's harder to keep track of who doesn't than who does at this point.
If we're just going to eliminate guys because they have COVID, I mean, what's next?
4 days ago, he got COVID. He got COVID on Sunday. So yeah, he might not be active as of right now. So I'm going to take Myles Gaskin. Maybe if Salvon Ahmed's in there, I might second guess it, but now I'm going to take Myles Gaskin this one up against the Jets. All right, let's go ahead and hop over to this last question. Do you like Kirk or Green more with D-Hop out? And I think this is more of like a consistency question versus like a week-to-week type thing. And I don't trust AJ Green week-to-week. Like I know that he's stayed healthy for the most part this season. And I don't really trust Christian Kirk, by the way, week-to-week.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's a weird.
Let's go Rondelle Moore. I'm going to pick Rondelle Moore in this one.
So we're just going to change the question. We don't like the answer, so just screw it. We'll change the question.
Yeah,
I'm going to go Zach Ertz.
I agree. I think he's the biggest benefactor.
It's the Arrested Development, Jeff. I don't understand the question, and I'm not going to answer it.
I don't know. All right, I'm going to go AJ Green out of these two, I guess. I don't like Christian Kirk. I can't get on board with him.
I want Christian Kirk because he can score a 70-yard bomb, and that'll be the week.
Give me Green between the two, but I don't feel good about either of them. Like, I'm with everybody else here. I think Zach Ertz is the big benefactor with D-Hop out.
Easy money.
Man, it's hard not to like if you just delete that one game in between, 17 targets in 2 games. But unfortunately, there was that third game in between when he had 1 target. So that gives him 18 in the last 3 weeks. God damn it. But no, I'm still going to go Green. I think the volume's going to be there. It's going to be a lot of passes to Green and Ertz. And yeah, I mean, Kirk, again, if I'm a decided underdog, I'm throwing Kirk in there because if someone's going to get me a 50-yard touchdown, it's going to be Kirk.
Yeah,
if someone's going to get me 2 50-yard touchdowns, it's Kirk. It's not going to be AJ Green.
It's going to be Rondelle Moore.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Rondelle Moore with that 0 ADOT is going to be
the jet sweep. He's gonna take the jet sweep for a touchdown. They refuse.
Oh, really? You want to go Debo? Rondelle Moore is the greatest wide receiver 51 in the NFL. He's amazing.
Hey,
listen,
standout player.
It is not Rondelle Moore's fault that they don't know how to use him correctly. They've just decided, well, he's short, so you have to make him a gadget player. Like that's all he can do. Like guys, no, like he actually played outside something.
His only touchdown came when there was no one like 25 yards around him.
You know why?
That's it.
He was that open.
On that offense.
Broke
on
ankles.
That offense.
But they're using him incorrectly. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, Kingsbury's going to be the coach next year, too.
Oh,
He's going to be the coach this week. So,
Rondelle Moore. Let's go ahead and let's get everybody out of here. By the way, I like Kyler Murray, I think, the most out of these options. I think
I like
rushing
winning,
upside
so
now.
Not Rondelle Moore.
Oh, we got one more. Herbert or Rodgers? Rodgers this week. Herbert's going to see some volume, right? Whew.
Herbert now and forever, man.
You don't care. I thought you don't care about volume, but give me Herbert.
Give me Herbert now and forever. I just, after seeing what we've seen the past few weeks from him, it's just he's auto start territory over just about anybody for me at this point.
The Chiefs defense doesn't scare you. They've been coming on hot. They've been coming on crazy hot.
Don't get me wrong. They're really, really good. And I think they're going to essentially abandon. It's going to be kind of like the game plan that teams deploy against Tampa Bay where they don't even bother trying to run the ball. I think you're going to see a lot of Austin Eckler out of the backfield. I think you're going to see a lot of Mike Williams, Keenan Allen. I mean, there's just so much talent for him to throw to. Plus it's a wacky divisional game. Like if it was anybody else,
Yeah.
I'm with you. It's just nothing scares me about any Justin Herbert matchup at this point. He's borderline matchup proof.
So Joshua Kelly and his volume doesn't scare you at all. You don't think he can take
Oh my God.
50 carries in this game?
If that happens.
Let's go ahead and get everybody out of here. We'll start out with you, Thomas. What you got?
Hey, look, you can catch me every week. We just recorded the midweek tilt tonight. That'll be out tomorrow morning. You can catch that every Thursday morning. Friday with the Full Tilt Dynasty podcast with usual host here, Jacob Sanderson, and our boy Big Billy FF all the way there in Texas. You can catch me Sunday mornings with Chase giving you all the wrong decisions. And you can catch me every other week over there at Chasing Points, where I rant against Chase about him wanting Freiermuth over Kyle Pitts in Dynasty. So that's always a lot of fun.
Kyle Pitts plus.
Rashad Penny sucks. So there you go. Thanks for having me all. It was fantastic.
All right, Anand, what you got?
Hey man, it was great to be on with you guys. Obviously, I do Decision Point with Matt and Roto Underworld. That's typically it started off every Wednesday. Now it's every other Wednesday, and now if you ask Matt, it's whenever the Pittsburgh Steelers lose, whatever that Wednesday that is.
I listened to a couple of y'all shows, and I felt like it was the Pittsburgh Steelers coverage, or like the opposite of that. Just the AFC North bashing of Pittsburgh.
I don't get why he hates Pittsburgh so much.
I love it.
As the city, have you ever been there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, they're diehards. I mean,
but have you met some of the people from Pittsburgh?
Hey, God bless Pat McAfee.
Yeah, man. But yeah, man, I had a lot of fun being on with you guys. So thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, man. Come check us out again. Of course, you're more than welcome to come back on the show, and I'd love to get you on an off-season show when salary cap's about to break out and they get in all the contracts and stuff.
Yeah,
great to have you on.
Absolutely.
All right, and Shane, where can we find you?
I'm going to be on Dynasty Intervention every Wednesday starting in 2 weeks. Dynasty Trades HQ podcast, subscribe. Dynasty Trades in 5 YouTube, subscribe. Manic and Chill YouTube on DLF, and then
a hype man
writing on DLF and Fantasy Data. So
and
check me out somewhere.
Don't forget about Facebook, Russell Gage Fan Club.
Yep,
Russell
you guys
Gage.
Can find his handle down here at the bottom.
Gage
of the screen.
at Gage Truther. I'm going to show just the top of it. This is actually a picture of Russell Gage. I don't want to take off my old shirt, but there's a picture of Russell Gage on my chest.
Write that down, and I'll
Just
just
face on the
record that
chat
audio
because
for
you're taking your shirt off. I think Faith needs to see this.
Oh man.
I will hype man for you. You can just write down what you want me to say, and I'll just put the energy in.
Well, I'm not good at it. It's just I'm not good at self promotion, like in the sense that's like, hey, look, I don't know, I'm fucking awesome. Check me out on all my shit. How about that? Is that better?
That's great. I love that.
Check my fucking handle, all right? Because that's got everything that I'm on, and everything I'm on is fucking gold.
There you go. See, let's go.
All right, you guys ready for this? Y'all can go find out my content over there at Join Our Circle _ over there on Twitter. You guys can go find me at FF _ intervention on Twitter. Y'all can go find the dose score, the dump off containment efficiency score, where you guys can find pass catching running backs, who you want to play them against, who you don't want to play them against, over there at fantasyintervention.com/DOCE. fantasyintervention.com/DOCE. Y'all can find my rankings over there at Dynasty Nerds, and every other week over there at Dynasty Happy Hour on Sunday nights for the Chasing Points. Y'all can find me on shows on Tuesdays at 8, Wednesdays at 9, and Sundays at 11:30 at youtube.com/fantasyintervention. And then you guys can find my DFS articles over there for playerprofiler.com. Once again, that's playerprofiler.com. My articles normally come out on Fridays or Saturdays. And last but not least, y'all can find me at Trophy Smack. Right? TrophySmack.com with the Smack Zone. Thomas is over there killing it with the images. We're over there with the content, just pumping out just stupid shit that y'all would love. I promise you that. Go check it out. TrophySmack.com. Hit Smack Zone. All we do is just talk shit, and it's so much fun. Like, if you want to get away from these analytical articles, right, where they're just trying to talk you into something by trying to cherry pick stats, right, and make things work. That's not what we do over there at Trophy Smack. We just tell you who sucks and who doesn't suck, why you want to play them and why you don't, and just say fuck it while we write a fun article. So go check it out over there, TrophySmack.com, and go to the Smack Zone. It's the tab on the right. Don't forget, guys, if y'all go to TrophySmack.com, by the way, and you guys pick up, oh, sorry, this thing is so freaking heavy. Oh, my God. Oh, if you guys go pick up a belt over there at TrophySmack.com or a trophy, use promo code CIRCLE. That's right, promo code CIRCLE. You actually get a free ring, which you can see in Thomas's blurry screen over there. TrophySmack.com. Use promo code CIRCLE. Make sure the ring or the belt or trophy is in the cart. You'll get that $60 ring for free. So go check it out, TrophySmack.com, promo code CIRCLE. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you all for letting us intervene with your fantasy football life. We're out.